So we are also taking your questions and your comments about being burned out. And I will get to some of those in just a little bit because we have our guest first. So are you stressed at work or in other parts of your life? Burnout really is a real thing.
Yeah, I tell you all the time, and I want to leave, but you force me to stay here. I swear, what is going on?
Yeah.
No, but this is a legit thing. The World Health Organization recently recognized burnout as a legitimate concern for people. They call it a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed.
Okay.
So we brought the doc here to chat a little bit more about that. And of course, we've been asking you to text, and if you have any questions regarding this issue, please text us in.
Yeah, so this is Dr. Hayley Quinn from Swedish. Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
Can you first talk about the big symptoms of burnout?
Yeah, so as you had mentioned before, there's those 3 key factors. So one of them being more distancing yourself from work. So that just means like kind of lack of interest, putting yourself a little bit more separated from your day-to-day tasks, more cynicism or negativity towards your tasks.
Okay.
A lack of productivity. So you might still be there every day showing up, have your duties, but you're just not as effective as you used to be. And then the third one just being mental exhaustion, tiredness, lethargy, fatigue.
I think I'm burned out.
Yeah, I know, right? I think a lot of people are burned out, right?
Having a moment.
The problem is, in America, right, we work. Everybody's working for the weekend,
Our
right?
vacation system stinks, our maternity system, you know. Like,
is there an easy fix?
I wouldn't say there's an easy fix. I think this is kind of at 2 levels, like you mentioned. There's certainly more of like a societal piece that at some point we do need to acknowledge and work on. But I would also say that there are some things that we can do to protect against burnout. So we do, there is a role for our own accountability in this, although I do agree that culturally it is a problem in general.
So what are, okay, so let me get to this because someone asked, Deborah says, I wish I could find some weekly quick fixes that could help me sustain the level of energy I need.
Yeah, so I think if you're looking for little quick tips, some of those would just be making sure you connect to some kind of meaningful area of your work. So having meaning in your work is a great protection against burnout. If you're starting to feel that distance, it's probably time to connect with your manager and talk about like, how can I reconnect to my role? Can I take on a different responsibility to change things up a little bit to make it more meaningful and impactful in my life? That probably paired with maybe some things outside of work that can give you another shift of focus so that it's not just all about work all the time. Is there something else you can do well or contribute in a way like volunteer or do some kind of an activity? I think that was
helping others is big. And you know, I've always been a big proponent on taking as much vacation as you can. Nature is huge for me. Every weekend I've got to go get some kind of nature to help me just rezone myself. And then of course, if you've traveled, I've been to Portugal and Spain, and they'll be like, oh yeah, every day between 12 and 2, there's a siesta time. Everyone just takes a nap from work. I'm like, whoa, that's like a thing? And so they're like getting it every day, right? Checking out from where we get an hour lunch break, most of us, and then we got to get back to work. So for the little day-to-day things, other than like finding meaning, are there any tricks when it comes to daily?
I would say definitely take the breaks that you have. Take little mental vacations. If you have a 5 or 10 minute break, instead of scrolling through on your phone sitting at your workstation, get up and move to a different place. Go outside or find a different place in your area of work where you can just be and try to like do something that's just not passive. Maybe actually research a vacation you want to take or take some deep breaths or go outside and look at the trees instead of just trying to like sit there and just let the world go by. You really want to get connected to something.
How do you keep from being burned out?
Oh yeah, doctor. Yeah, that's a great question.
Because caregivers, people like doctors have the highest rates of burnout. So I think that's really important to acknowledge. For myself, I think just having a diversity in my activities. So one thing like coming here, doing something like this where I can talk with a greater community at large about something important. Volunteering, doing talks, things like that, just keeping it interesting for me.
A lot of companies, I was going to say a lot of companies now give you a charity day or something. Like we have a charity day here at Tegna, and that's kind of nice. Yeah,
like sharing your skills with the world at large, rather like getting out of your workplace and doing something that you were gifted with.
Right.
Sharing it with others.
Last question, have you ever encountered this in your field and have to prescribe something? Like, oh, I prescribe 3 afternoon walks outside for you every week.
This is something I do every single day with people. And I think it really is something that we often wait till we're at the end of our rope and we're like, I gotta get out of here, I gotta quit, I'm freaking out, but if we can kind of think and be more mindful about what's going on and recognize burnout and get ahead of it, I think it's a lot more easier to manage.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not really burned out.
I know.
Are you sure?
I love it.
Who depends who's watching. No, I'm not. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. All right, Chris, we're gonna send over to you.
Burnout. Oh, wait.
No, he's meditating.
No, it was one of those mental vacations. Doctor's orders.